Hey everybody, I'm Griffin here, and welcome back to Moons of Madness. I'm recording with the NDI stuff, and I'm crossing my fingers and hoping that it behaves. That's pretty much all I've got at this point. It seems like it's a location-specific thing, or like if the game is under heavy load. But at this point, I'm just hoping that we can get a decent, not incredibly piece of crap experience from the rest of this. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got. I don't have anything too crazy open in the meantime, so I'm gonna keep an eye on stuff, and if it gets really bad, I'll try and stop the video and pick it back up, but I really don't have any promises, unfortunately.
You're trembling. Let me swaddle you in viscera and wrap you to my bones.
Stop it! Get out of my head!
You could crack open your helmet like a walnut. And my voices will still be faces we know, but in between, only discarded pieces block the path. Rain stances, unanswered question.
Looks like this is not the right way. I do not like that. We do have to talk about security in this
We're all
place.
expendable assets to Orochi. Wasn't enough to know all our secrets. They can't leverage us, they'll just replace us.
Alright. The Icarus Project is authorized to enact a contingency plan in case of unforeseen circumstances that may put the Invictus crew at risk. A replica of the individual will be made and preserved until a severe violation has occurred. So unauthorized transmission, verbal threat of intent to control or sabotage the mission objectives, homicide, witnessing a homicide. See, that's an interesting one. Sustaining a fatal or crippling injury, witnessing the retrieval or release of cloned subject. So yeah, they just have a bunch of clones of us. So the question becomes, are we actually a clone?
Holy shit! That's all of us. The entire Invictus crew. Are we the originals? The copies. It doesn't end.
Split from a single seed. Germinated, scribbled on carbon paper, they multiply like vermin. Sentience is a glitch in the sensory organ. Pain, a cancer fed by reality.
Alright, thank you for that. We're experimenting with the substance, phenomenon entity, oftentimes called the filth, Z-path. Each sample tightly constrained and weakened with a particular regimen of radiation. The goal of the experiment is to see if the effects of this preternatural containment are the same on cloned human tissue as on normal tissue. If the effects are not the same, how do they differ? Today we applied minute amounts of filth on cloned cells and observed. Effects were largely similar and the molecules of the containment attacked the cells. Oh, sorry, of the contaminant attacked the cells. However, the process moved more slowly than observed before. Filth has escaped, I've sealed my safety suit and performed all the emergency protocols. I've injected the radiated serum as outlined in the procedures. Side effects are intense but mundane, and far better than the alternative. How did this happen? There was no breach. I think the theory that the filth flows, even undulates, along dimensions outside of our perceived 3 may have merit. I have sent for help. I am trying to not panic. The voices continue. I ignored them at first. Hey, this sounds similar to what we're experiencing. Congratulated myself on my rationalism, but then the voices learned to mimic my voice, and I thought they were me, as I was the voices. And I was the voices. No, that doesn't make sense. The radiation must be working. My limbs have begun to do things on their own, but only when I'm not looking. I have to stare at my limbs very carefully, or they misbehave. I've made a careful regimen of making sure not to look at any one body part for more than 7 seconds. I have to keep watching them. Except for my right arm. Good arm. I'm a scientist. Scientist. Cut off my arm today. Right arm. Good arm. Only uncorrupted part. Pristine. It will be pristine forever. Stored good arm in the morgue. Code 9510. I am a scientist. I will lock myself in padded room. Everyone is safe. Scientist. Scientist, 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 scientist. I'm not going to try and read that. Mostly because it's not readable. Alright, well, you know, that's what happens when you go, what's the delicate phrase for it? Fucking insane. Yeah, that's it. That's the one.
Numbers sees their meaning.
Oh,
There we go.
that's disgusting.
A tactile tool. Tender. Untethered.
Against my better judgment, I'm going to open these too. Now we have a handprint to use on the elevator. I saw a jump in the recording, but it's not that bad yet.
Oh, shit! Come on! Come on! Come on, open! Let's go, let's go, let's go! Come on! Come on! Open, open, open! Come on! Shit! Okay, come on, you plant piece of shit!
Hey, look, the game's doing okay now. I don't trust that it's not going to end up behind me.
Strangely, it tugs at the tides of the mind. It pulls the planet apart. Do you feel it? My mind, like a nocturnal flower, aching for the pollinator bat. I go from endless eons and inconceivable dimensions to worlds of elder outer eternity. Oh, how rot casts a shadow. A corona surrounds the dark.
Unauthorized access. Unauthorized access. Security en route. Please await lethal response.
Locked in. What are they keeping here? So the Lord God banished him from the Garden of Eden to work the ground from which he had been taken. Genesis 3:23.
It's always religious. When
The clock is stuck on 4:23. New Eden. Orochi is planning on building a city here.
Yep.
A failsafe.
There is no escape. The dream will consume them. They are inevitable.
The CEO of Orochi was here. It makes no sense.
On Earth. Which cannot.
It's probably a 4-letter word. I should look around for some clues.
Oh, well, of course it is.
An emergency failsafe if Project Eclipse is released. If I can lower the shield, I can get out of this room.
Okay. The fragment has become agitated. The workers are unable to resist its communications. They scratch at the walls, run through the complex, reduced to a wild animalistic frenzy. I was able to close the chamber and enact the highest protocols, but I can hear the echoes ring in my ears. I can see the crew of the Cyrano. I've never seen them before, but I know who they are with all of my being, and they stare through cracked helmets. The filth reaching out towards me. I can't stay here. The eclipse has been shuttered. Interesting. Right. That makes sense. I've activated the proper protocols. I doubt they will be enough. The doors will automatically unlock in the event that the subject of Project Eclipse is released.
Once it is broken, the rush is upon you. You don't get to be the same person after they get in.
Right, Project Symmetry. The numbing agent used in Project Eclipse to keep the fragment under control is created from the strange metal powering the machine in the alien ruins. Since the active mechanism for sedation is poorly understood, we have taken the precaution of stockpiling a large amount of the metal on board the Invictus. In the event of an emergency, the Invictus can be launched. A self-guiding rocket has been attached to the payload. It can be triggered with the code phrase once the Invictus safely clears the atmosphere. Communications specialist Delapore was tasked with loading the payload and setting up the detonation trigger. Due to the sensitivity of the operation and his location at the off-site communication dish, he is considered the operative with the most chance of success in case of a catastrophic event. He alone knows the trigger word and will use it at his discretion. The Cyrano has crashed, something happened, an EMP? We could not analyze it in time. The filth has reacted violently and unpredictably, spread like a cancer across the entire base. The Dreamer fragment has sent the workers into a panic, searching for a way to escape. The security system has been triggered. The entire base has been compromised. I've shut down Project Eclipse. An emergency kill signal has been sent to shut down communication via Angelus. We will leave no trace. That's just, yeah. Father, as you know, we owe a great debt to the work of Dr. Cynthia Newhart. Newhart? Have I been saying it wrong? Anyway, this site was chosen based on her later work, notes and research kept under the strictest clearance. While her exhaustive library of equations and scrawled symbology has been daunting, our analysis still continues to see results. Most recently, in the acquisition of 2 recent items. You are already aware of the fragment of a Dreamer, which we recovered. Research continues into the significance of this fragment and how it tries to communicate. Using the magnetic energy signatures first recorded by Munson's expedition to Antarctica, we were able to triangulate the location within kilometers. Even though the excavation of Site 9, through the excavation of Site 9, the team is excited to announce that we have uncovered an actual Gaia engine on Mars. Further exploration in the chamber containing the engine has been halted, and we defer to your judgment. Intercepted unauthorized video transmission. Pound and muffled talking. This is Trevor Graham, commander of the Cyrano 1. An EMP fried our systems, and we are currently hurtling towards Mars at approximately 50 meters per second. Fuck protocol, fuck Orochi. It wasn't hours after they sent us coordinates, and I could see it in everyone's eyes. Dr. Baduri drew the short straw when the heat shield controls malfunctioned. We're not equipped for a mission like this. Command knew it. It's a fucking support crew, but we follow procedure. After 20 minutes, he stopped responding to comms. We tried to reel him in, but his face, when he turned, his entire mask was covered in blackness. Just a spider webbing of black oil across the entire thing and leaking out into the void. It cracked straight through the fucking helmet. Costanza grabbed his arm, and that shit, it crawled up her suit, wrapped around, squeezing itself inside. The pounding, the airlock, I couldn't let them back in. The infection. Just being near it made my temples seethe. They're all infected. Doesn't matter though. The fucking hatch won't close. Anytime now, we're gonna bust apart and rain down in pieces on the Martian desert. Pierce and Vogel are lucky. They're still asleep in their pods, won't feel a thing. I'm taking it down with me. All of it. This is the Cyrano. I'm about to enter the Martian atmosphere on a secret mission to help stake a claim. They don't care about the lives they lose to it. Do you hear me, Orochi? The whole world is gonna see this thing. The whole fucking world will know.
I'm getting out of here. I wonder if those consoles have anything to do with Project Eclipse.
Okay, I have to have the right combination of these that add up to 100 is my guess. Oh, jeez. Wait, do any of these lower... That lowers it by 1. Okay. Because we had 101 at one point. Okay, so the bottom right one has to be flicked. So that one's 3. That one's 12. Okay. Communication with the dreamer requires a sensory deprived environment, even for you. Use these settings. Oh. this is something. That looks like a heart.
What the hell is that thing?
The achievement implies it is the dreamer.
That didn't work. There's got to be a hint somewhere for the right setting on these dials. Wasn't the number on the clock. Maybe it's something else.
Oh, they recognize it. It was a board meeting at 5:12, wasn't it? I don't entirely know how waking the dreamer
Yes. Let it connect.
allows us to escape. Oh right, because if it escapes, it opens up the blast shield. We could move. Oh.
Our family therapist's office. I can still smell the musty leather sofa in the corner. My parents took me here when I started having night terrors.
I understand that some might consider my behavior obsessive. Yes. We may not agree on finer points, but I can't let it go. My mom always used to say, "Your brain is to go out, and all it does is to follow rules." I love to see the baby turn up and get a small head, but I never thought of this. Strip me of my accolades, that it would affect my son. Sick enough, my head just keeps eating.
Just keeps eating.
I know how that sounds.
That was a squeak on the tape. New patient Shane Newhart, 7-year-old male with mother Cynthia, reporting night terrors with complex hallucinations. He claims to remember every detail. Mother encouraged him to describe the terror, and so he did. It is made of vines, tendrils, and teeth. He emphasized the teeth with human hands and face. The vines emerge from every shadow and fill the room, twining upon themselves, eventually crushing him to the bed. All the space that remains is a small, dull, dark tunnel through which the creature stares at him from across the room, and he can see it through his eyelids, and his face inches closer minute by minute, but his mom always wakes him up before the teeth. Shane became extremely distraught, and the rest of the session was spent consoling him. For any chance to develop a rapport with him, I'll need to see them separately for several sessions. Call Cynthia to set up time next week to discuss home life, school performance, her concerns, etc. Shane's GP ruled out physiological causes for night terrors, must be related to anxiety, a lot of tension in the Newhart house. Shane may be genetically predisposed. Today he showed me with the handheld chess game he plays during recess. Smart kid, but needs help with his confidence. Meanwhile, Cynthia remains challenged. She answered my questions about Shane, but was reluctant to talk about herself. Insisted I wouldn't understand. As I encouraged her to give me a chance, she succumbed to a dissociative episode, which we talked about at length once it passed. She called it seeing through the eyes of elsewhere. We will have to revisit this next week. I convinced her to see me as a patient. Sounds very similar.
Can anyone tell me how to access the space between dreams?
How does one access the space
Excellent try,
between dreams?
Gloria. However, while the roads of Agartha do traverse the vastness of time and space, the corridors between dreams are a separate sort of passageway, and the two only intersect in very rare places.
It's a hypercube.
That's very cutting edge, Adam. And while the full answer to that is quite complex, that is still incorrect. What a distinctive answer, Rupert. That is an interesting theological paradox, but it is wrong.
I've seen God and it's terrible. That's, a thing. Oh, I hit the smoke. Okay, it's not open. Oh, there it is.
Very good. The answer is the dreaming ones. The dreaming ones were, the dreaming ones are, the dreaming ones shall be. Not in the spaces we know, but between. They walk serene and primal, undimensioned and to us unseen. They can teach us deep knowledge, secrets past the skin of eternity.
Ooh.
I'm having a hard time noticing when it's happening. Yesterday, I saw a light streaming through the kitchen window. A mote, illuminated, suspended in the air. I spent the remainder of the day in my office researching. I've been accused of isolating myself. I merely am who I am and have always been an isolate. Isolated by knowledge. Imagine discovering a dictionary of new words to describe the universe. Words that no one else could ever know. The promise of limitless knowledge. I struggle with most. But I had to make a choice. I'm sealing it away. I have to try. Shane's universe.
I did
After
want to
the
read
seizure
the
started, she tried for a while. We were really close the summer she left her tenure, but I could tell she was restless. Couldn't stop writing. She'd snap at the smallest things. The book sold really well, though. Popular with the pseudoscience crowd.
How can the human mind access the moments between moments, the space between spaces? If we depend on the other to recognize ourselves, what of ourselves would we perceive if we met what lies beyond? These questions are not as different as they seem. To answer them, we must first relearn how to see, as I have through the universal language of mathematics. The gift is hidden within the angles. Come, wonder with me. Join Dr. Cynthia Newhart, revolutionary theoretical mathematician turned philosopher, on her tireless mission to push beyond the outer limits of human knowledge and learn how she balances her thrilling career and the demands of motherhood. Looks like we had another entry over here. Patient functioning continues to fluctuate. She is managing to find relief from auditory hallucinations by isolating herself in basement. Symptoms waned enough to attend session today. Washed hair in basement utility sink apparently. Manages to take care of Shane during dissociative periods. Cynthia twice trailed off into almost nonsensical babble. Claims to have had a lot on her mind with the upcoming publication of latest book and is not concerned. Not my first patient with such challenges, but for some reason I feel out of my depth here. Thinking about referring her to someone else, increased dosage in the meantime. Shane is apparently doing well with support from his school's counselor. I'm sure he's glad to have his Thursday afternoons back. And then we move on.
Once you open the book, it's already too late. It's always too late.
She contacted me this week. They've approached me several times in my career. They knew about the Red Planet.
So it's her. She's the one who's speaking to me. Interesting. What lies on the other side of dreams? Where do thought and space meet? Beyond interdimensional theory, beyond the communal subconscious, beyond the fabled roads of Agatha, acclaimed mathematician and author Dr. Cynthia Newhart takes the reader to a place where quantum science and myth intersect. With painstaking research, spaces between the walls of sleep makes the impossible not only possible, but within reach. This book is an absolute game changer. Newhart fearlessly puts everything on the line to tackle subjects that others of her name and credentials would not dare to touch, and it all pays back in tremendous dividends. This book will broaden your perceptions from the shape of the universe to that of your daily life. And it's on clearance. It's been some weeks since I transferred Cynthia's care to a more experienced clinician. I can't stop thinking about our final session, even though my notes are sparse and the details hazy. Ever since, there has been a gnawing at the back of my consciousness, a deep anxiety I can't shake. I find myself jolting awake after mere minutes, or failing to sleep entirely. I know something is watching. I see it flickering in my periphery. It slithers in the split between seconds. I think I don't see. It thinks I don't see. If I take the dreams for myself, it will tell them. I will have to suspend my practice until I figure out what it wants. Well, that's unfortunate. I only have very little control here.
Why are you doing this?
Is this my mother?
Cannot awaken. The moons bend above us. It is all but a brilliant equation.
Please, I need you to help me.
I thought I am. I was. I will.
God damn it, who are you?
Pretty sure.
Shane. I'm sorry, Shane. I've made so many mistakes. You were never supposed to be here.
Mom? Why are you... How did you get here?
My curiosity led me here. The pages of the Necronomicon revealed a mathematics I had never encountered, and a pathway to the dream world. I didn't know that once I made the choice, I could never return. The decision has weighed on me ever since.
Weighed on you? Do you have any idea what that did to us? To Dad? When you left, it broke him. We searched for you for years.
Shane, please, listen.
Has it been you this whole time? In the base, haunting the crew? Driving us crazy with these nightmares?
Stop! The struggle tears at my soul. It takes every ounce of concentration I have to remain here. I need your help, son. We must act quickly. When the ship passed between the moons, the twin dreamers were disturbed in their slumber. All the chaos you've witnessed, the filth, that creeping horror is only a fraction of the destruction that it can bring. If they corrupt the engine, the moons of Mars, the dreaming ones will awaken, and they will devour all of reality.
You left me. You left us for a delusion. What the fuck do you care about reality?
Reality is where my son lives.
What do I need to do?
Find the Gaia engine. I will help you do what must be done. Help me, Shane. Help me undo what has been set in motion.
Please don't leave again.
Don't worry. We'll solve this. Together.
Very limited control during this cutscene. Hey, it's the elevator. I'm so glad we're in the dream world. Just reminds me of Lost in Time and Space. I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter where I click. Pretty sure. Alright, we're probably going to get a checkpoint here, and I'm probably going to call it, because we've had a little bit of a long episode. But the game is not completely exploding, which is a very big positive. I'm very happy about that.
Oh, shit!
Yeah, that,
Shane. Shane? Declan. Sorry, I don't know what happened. There's so much more down there, Declan. Clones, mind control, the dreamers, the dreaming ones. Declan, we have to find the Gaia engine. It's the only thing holding them back. Everything. The filth, the nightmares, my hallucinations, they're connected. We need to find the engine.
Okay. Shane, slow down. We're inside. You need to get here as soon as possible.
Hell if I'm staying here. We have to find it.
Okay. We'll find this machine. Because as much as I don't have any idea what you're talking about, it makes more fucking sense than anything else that's happened today.
remember when we read this? Our non-disclosure agreement. Alright, so we hit a checkpoint, so I'm going to go ahead and call it. We might have to listen to that audio again, but that's okay. That might be a good primer for next time. But we now have to go find the Gaia engine and stop the dreamers from awaking, so that they do not consume all of reality. This is a normal objective to have in a game. I really like this episode, not only because I didn't have very much technical issues. Whatever they did with the creature appears to just fuck with everything. So, I'm guessing that's a big part of it, but I don't know for sure. I know it's where I first started noticing problems. But, yeah, and it's the one place that I actively noticed problems in this episode with frame rate and other stuff. But also, what I see on my two different instances of OBS on two different computers isn't always synced. So, it's hard to say sometimes. But, either way, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you're still with me if you've been watching it, especially with, last episode being just a wonderful little, 20-minute narrative of what actually happened instead of watching it. This was definitely... I was very worried that that's what this episode was going to turn into. So I'm hoping that when I hit stop recording, it does not explode. I'm hoping. But we'll see. Because if I have to record another narrative of all the things that happened this time, I'm going to go crazy. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I will see you next time, which might even be the finale. It's hard to say. I really don't know. But until then, keep your gears turning.